What's up everyone, I'm Gooshy, and in this video we're going to be going over the best archer build in Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. With some of the new things that were added to Ghost of Tsushima, we get a different way to play this ranged build, and in my opinion uses way more of what we have available, and to me is just a way more fun way to play. So in this video we're going to be going over the charms and gear needed for this build, and then the playstyle, which I believe is really what makes this build fun. So if you guys are interested, stay tuned. So the first thing I want to go over are the additional playstyle changes with all the new stuff that was added in Iki Island. Most notably the horse armor, which makes you more resilient to attacks while you're on horseback, the new technique that we get, which lets you use resolve to take down enemies, and the horse saddle, which lets you carry more ammo. Because of these new additions, the horseback gameplay gives a different playstyle and adds more depth to the archer build. So let's talk a little bit more in depth into these three different changes. So the first is the increase to resilience while you're on horseback. Before, the major problem while being on horseback is that any shot, like an arrow or any hit, throws you off your horse, making you vulnerable to damage. And so check out how much damage you could take while you're on horseback. You can literally tank as many hits as possible as long as you're on your horse. Just kidding, I think this was a bug actually, but you definitely are a little bit more resilient. Now instead you can take around 2 to 3 hits until you're knocked off your horse. Ideally you'd really want to stay mobile all the time, but just in case you get caught on something and you're stuck in place, this will give you that leeway to take a couple hits and get out of harm's way. Next, let's talk about the horse charge technique. As an archer, you really don't use resolve unless you need to heal. So in most cases, I was stuck at full resolve, basically just letting it go to waste. With this new technique, we have the ability to use some of this resolve while on horseback. And tell me not, this horse charge ability is super satisfying and really fun to use in combat. Finally, while you're on horseback, you can carry more ammo. In most areas, when you have to use the longbow because there's a lot of helmeted enemies, having more ammo just in case you don't get ammo back, which we'll discuss later on in the video, is very useful. I didn't upgrade any of my saddle options, so at base, my heavy arrow count is at 13 while on horseback, and then when I get off on foot, the max heavy arrow count that I have is 8. So having that 60% increase to ammo is pretty nice. Alright, finally moving on to the build. So of course we're using the Tadayori's armor. The main perk that we want from this is the headshots restore 50% of the concentration meter, but the knocking and reload speed are pretty nice. Next, moving on to the charms. The new charm from Iki Island that we'll be using is the charm of terrifying aim. When you kill an enemy with a headshot, there's a 30% chance of terrifying a nearby enemy. Next, we're going to increase that percent chance even more by an extra 25% with the charm of Ikazuchi no Kami. Finally, we're going to increase that again with 2 charms of fortune. Now depending on which order these charms stack, we can either have a 75% chance to terrify a nearby enemy or a 110% chance. I'm pretty sure it's the latter, as I found that with this build, as long as there's an enemy close, almost always another enemy will be terrified. So essentially every headshot kill that you get, you'll always be taking out another enemy, basically taking out 2 enemies with 1 shot. Now in the case of ammo, the way we keep up our ammo is with the charm of Izanagi. Landing a headshot has a 40% chance to return an arrow, which again is boosted by the charms of fortune, making it an 80% chance to return an arrow when you get a headshot. And this is really when the horse saddlebag comes in handy. That small 20% chance where you don't get an ammo back, or when you don't land a headshot, having more ammo in your inventory really comes in handy. Finally, the last charm that I use is a charm of efficiency, which will increase knocking and reload speed by an extra 15%. This isn't totally needed, but is really helpful because the helmeted green tiered Mongols does need a fully drawn heavy bow to kill them in 1 headshot. So the faster you get to that max draw, the faster you can kill any enemy. Alright, so some of you might be wondering, why aren't you using that other new charm that we got in Iki Island, which is the charm of Sugaru's sight? And there's a really good reason why, because I've done a bunch of testing with this. First of all, it takes 1.75 seconds to lock onto a target's head. Again, all these other charms require you to get a headshot. So in those cases where you need to get that quick fire headshot, either to get your ammo back or finish off a kill, you will always have to wait that 1.75 seconds. The second reason why I don't use this is because of the limited angle that it has to use this charm. So unlike Legends where the hunter uses her ult, and every enemy that's on your screen is available to get hit, in this case, only the enemies located within your reticle are susceptible to get hit. So So I found out that with this charm, you really have to place yourself so you line enemies up all within this reticle just to get those headshots. And say you do get like 2 enemies inside of your reticle, 1 arrow will go to 1 enemy which will kill them, but the other 2 will go to another enemy which they'll only get 1 arrow back, as the second one will pretty much go to waste. So I didn't find it really useful, but if you guys have, let me know in the comment section down below and let me know what you guys think. So I really like going with that single arrow playstyle. It really does speed up the gameplay, as you can quickly go from enemy to enemy with your concentration meter always going back up to full. And that's everything you guys need to know on what I think is the best archer build. I know there's a ton of other ways that you can run this build, and this is just the one that I found really fun to use and what really fits my playstyle. If you guys have another variation, let me know in the comment section down below and I might try it out because it might even be better than this one. If you guys found this video helpful, please drop a like, as it helps YouTube know that you like this kind of content. And if you want to see more, consider subscribing and hit that bell notification to always stay up to date with all the videos that I post. Especially with the Legends update coming out in a couple weeks, you know that this is the place to find all your Ghost of Tsushima content. As always, thank you guys for watching. Hope to catch you in the next one, and GG.